Hello, this is Brad Warner from Region Weather Live, your YouTube source for weather across the Dakotas and Minnesota, with just a quick, short video to take a look at what's going to happen for your Thursday regarding the severe weather chances. So right now, the Storms Prediction Center has got our marginal risk, our 1 out of 5 chance reaching up into southeastern parts of North Dakota and pretty much covering the eastern half of South Dakota and southwestern parts of Minnesota. The slight risk, the 2 out of 5 here, the yellow in through here, obviously covering just a little bit smaller space within that. And obviously that's going to be your best chance for seeing that severe weather for Thursday. Now, the main things really are going to be the wind and the hail. That's going to be the main problems with these storms here. And ultimately, as the night goes along, it's going to be probably transition even more so into the wind. But there is also a small chance, at least, of just the possibility of an isolated tornado or two as well associated with these storms. And that's where the Storms Prediction Center has this area outlined here in green. So what are we looking at for Thursday? Now, a few models actually have this area developing late tonight into the early parts of Thursday morning. Just some showers and storms developing across southeast North Dakota, west central parts of Minnesota, and also this little area of rain out in the western parts of North Dakota as well. So I guess look for that to happen as we get into the early parts of Thursday morning. Ultimately, that kind of dies off, but this line of showers, ultimately, this is the front that sweeps through from west to east, and that's going to be the catalyst for these storms as we get into the afternoon hours. And you can see how once it kind of reaches that slight risk to even that marginal area, if you remember where that outline was by the Storms Prediction Center out through here, that's where the storms fire up. So right around the Missouri River area, probably just a little east of the Missouri River, is when these storms are expected to develop and then push eastward as we get into the evening hours. This is right around 7 o'clock according to this model here, and it's really not until we look at 9, 10 o'clock by the time it reaches Minnesota. And ultimately, by that point, you know, some of these storms might be on the dissipating side. Now, this is just one kind of model run, so we'll take a look at one other one just to take a look at some of the variations. And here you go, same thing. You can see those storms kind of pop up in that same area here, right along that warm front, basically, that's moving northward through the early morning hours. We've got our showers, maybe a few storms that ultimately kick off the larger storms, again, just east of the Missouri River Valley region, closer to Aberdeen, perhaps more so, according to this model, into southeastern parts of North Dakota before they start to dive southeastward. This is right around 10, 11, and midnight by the time the stronger storms exits out into Iowa. So one model has a little bit more of the stronger storms, more into, I'd say, South Dakota, kind of in through this region. The other one, this one that we're looking at, develops it a little bit further north and then dives it in across southwestern parts of Minnesota. And so ultimately what I think will happen is sort of a combination of the two. We're probably going to see these storms develop right around that Aberdeen area, maybe southeastern parts of North Dakota, around that 3, 4 o'clock time frame mainly. And then a line kind of developing a little bit further to the south. But given where the location of the warm front and that low pressure is, some of these northern storms could turn out to be a little bit more nasty, especially at the beginning once these storms take off into the afternoon areas. Now, as we get into a little bit later in the afternoon and more so into the evening, again, you can see how those storms develop. You get that line a little bit further south. And ultimately, this is going to dive down to the southeast, kind of like I said, like with a bit of that combination of the last couple of models here. And it's not going to be until probably closer to 10 or 11 or so by the time these storms weaken. Some of these might run through the Minneapolis area beyond around midnight or possibly just after. But I think by that point, most of the storms will have weakened. And so we're not too concerned with at least the Twin Cities area at that point. So for Thursday, eastern half of South Dakota, southeast parts of North Dakota, and kind of that southwest sector of Minnesota is kind of the area to watch out for as we get into the afternoon and into the early parts of Thursday night. So make sure you tune in here. I will have the live stream going, and if things really start to ramp up a little more and things get a little more dangerous and such, I'll be sure to be on camera as well. I'll really keep track of the chat tomorrow and just make sure in case anybody's got any questions. So feel free to jump on there, ask questions on the chat. I will be monitoring that for sure. So if you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button down below and hit the bell button right beside it. That way you'll be notified when I am on live or when I've uploaded a video just like this. At the very least, hit the thumbs up button. That helps me out as well. All right, everybody, for Region Weather Live, I'm meteorologist Brad Warner, and everybody have a good day.